Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. It's really early. We just got up. I got to head to the gym and get a good leg workout today. But, I had this on my mind because I gave shout outs the last couple of days. It's day 112 regarding, leadership style and different skills that you can bring to the table to help move the needle in your personal life and your business life. If you're running companies, you're an entrepreneur, or you're running divisions, or even if you're just a manager for the first time with a group of people that report to you. I'm going to talk to you something today that's called a pattern interrupt. Okay, so pattern interrupts are things that you do just to shift gears from the norm to get someone's attention or a group of people's attention, to get them on path, redirect their focus, whatever it might be. And there was one particular leader that I worked for. His name was Art Rosen. And, he's a CPA, went to Cal State Northridge. Graduated in accounting, very sharp guy, ran numbers really quick. I was really blessed to work with some great guys. He came in about year two when I was in the wireless industry for a company that's now known as Verizon. And we worked for the paging division, beepers, two-way messaging devices. And he came in after my first manager, a guy named Terry Kramer, and Scott Jackson. Terry Kramer actually got promoted. So he moved to LA, was a mentor of mine, and we hired a guy from outside, a competitor, and Art came in. And Art had this very disciplined approach about, just paperwork, processes, very process-oriented, and very numbers-oriented, very methodical. And I always knew if I walked into his office, and as a young manager, it was hard sometimes for me to articulate what I was looking for, but it was being prepared, just like I was when I went into Terry's office. But one day I came in and I handed Art a contract. It was an agreement with a new distributor for our wireless products and services. And I handed it to him. It was perfect. It had all the signatures, all the paperwork was there. And then he came back into my office and he goes, "Hey, listen." And he was very kind about it, but he says, "I want you to redo this. These pages need to be stapled together. These pages need to be paper clipped." And all I remember him saying is stapled and paper clipped. And it was amazing to me because I'm like, what level of detail is this all about? So I go back to his office and I hand it to him, and you only need to tell me something once for the most part. And I don't have to, I don't screw it up. But I go, hey, Art, why do things have to be stapled versus paper clipped? And the explanation, it's a little, it was short, but I'll save it for another day, was pretty eye-opening. And there's a specific reason for it. And if you'd like to know, feel free to private message me. But this is just the level of detail that I learned that as a leader, you have to sometimes manage the small details, and you do still have to get into the weeds and make sure things are buttoned up, because if the foundation of the company is not solid, the rest of it's going to crumble. And often he used a technique, and I'm not even sure if he was aware of it. This is the one thing I might have on Art, so I don't know if he's got a chance to listen to this, but if he's ever heard something called a pattern interrupt. So a pattern interrupt is doing something slightly different to catch somebody's attention. And he did this once with me, and I thought it was really cool. We were on a ride-along. Typically what happens is Art would come out in the field with me or one of our other division leaders, and we'd go visit accounts in LA or up in San Fernando Valley or San Diego, wherever it might be. And so we'd spend a lot of time in the car in California traffic, and we had company cars. There was these white Saturn vehicles with our logo stamped on either side of the vehicle. Well, one day Art had driven in his Mazda Miata. He's a car enthusiast. He just loves automobiles. And this Mazda Miata was one of his pride and joys, and him and his wife used to take road trips on weekends and stuff like that in the Mazda Miata. It's a two-seater. As I recall, it was red, convertible. So we get into this Miata and we drive up there, and we're kind of talking about it. It's really kind of cool. But Art, again, back in the day, we're wearing suit and ties. It's a very structured, professional environment. We're talking business the whole way there and back. This particular day, I think it was a Friday, we're coming back and we stop for gas, and he kind of looks at me and he says, "Let's take the top down." And I looked at him and I thought, wow, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. It was a beautiful, late afternoon. Going into the weekend, we brought the top down on the Miata. We jumped back in and we drove the rest of the way back to South Orange County with the top down. Just I mean, we might have even had some music on and just chatting, wind blowing in our hair. It was just pretty cool. It was a connection moment outside of the normal business environment and the way we normally interact. That's a pattern interrupt. So whether he was doing it purposely just to have fun and bring the top down or not, for me, it was a pattern interrupt because it allowed me to get to see a different side of him, not just the business side. And that kind of transcended my relationship with him to another level, and another level of respect, because he allowed that door to open for me and allowed me to stand on the shoulders of giants, become the person I've become, to learn how to be a good leader and share it with the rest of you. So with that said, be brave, be strong, go get what's yours today, and consider using pattern interrupts in your life and see where that might take you. Bye-bye.